Greetings, welcome. I welcome you all to today's program. I am Conscious Plat, a singer, writer, poet, and messenger for the people. Dr. Valentine, are you there?
Yes, I am.
Greetings, brother. How are you?
I'm well, sister. How are you?
I'm doing just fine, and I just want to let you know I really thank you for joining the program today. It's an honor.
My pleasure. Thank you for inviting me.
I'm going to allow you to start wherever you'd like. I know that you are a person that can talk on any subject. I've seen many of your videos on YouTube, and one you were speaking of the perilous times we're living in and the things that are going to start taking place. So, you just start wherever you would like, brother.
There's a Russian scientist, the one who used to be working for the KGB, and he is also an observer for the KGB, and he stated that the United States will be carved up into 4 zones. The northern hemisphere, or a part of the United States, will go to Canada. The east coast will go to the European Union. The south will go to Mexico, and the east and the west will go to China. So the exact demographics or the exact environmental carving of the United States, I'm not sure through which states, but we do know that the north will go Canada, again, east will go to the European Union, the south will go to what we call the AmeriCom, or will be owned by the Mexicans, or go to under jurisdiction of the Mexicans government, and the west will go under the jurisdiction of the Chinese. Yeah, and it's going to be on the West Coast. The Chinese control the ports in California. Most people don't know that, and they will be the ones that are going to be used to quell any kind of unrest and uprising that will come after the dollar goes through its final collapse. Meanwhile, all over the United States of America, even though we're in poverty, we're at least somewhere, close to living in the 20th century. Not even the 21st, but at least just barely into the 20th century, but we're still in the 20th century. AFRICOM and EUROCOM, NATO, China, Russia, Australia, everywhere across the planet there is a mad dash for Africa's resources. At this point, China and India are holding the most chips, as it were. And they are doing the most infrastructural work, putting up railroads, going into areas where the whites had not yet gone. But instead of hiring the people of Africa, they are actually exporting help from their own countries into Africa. So those who are setting up along the trade routes that are being set up by these railroads that are being put up, these thatch villages that are being put up in order to house the Chinese workers, in order to house the Indian workers. The Africans themselves are not getting the type of help, because the leadership in Africa, in order for them to get the monies that China and the other industrialized nations are getting, have to make deals with these governments in order to employ these government citizens. So even in Africa, Africans who are in control of the land, quote unquote, still do not have that ability to manage the wealth of the land that belongs to them. There are ways that are being dealt with right now to consolidate those lands by attempting to organize the lesser chiefs of these lands to a consortium. One of those consortiums are run by a woman who calls herself the Queen of Makeda, I believe, the third or the second, and she has opened up a non-governmental organization that is consolidating about 1,000 chiefs and tribes into a non-governmental organization where they will be then exploiting the land of those people, of the chiefs. So Africa, even though I would say Nigeria is a very powerful country because of, or has the ability to be a powerful country, and is the most densely populated country in Africa at this time. Even they don't actually have control of the resources, things like Shell having control of the land. In fact, they're polluting the land. They don't have the same kind of environmental restrictions that some of the more industrialized nations have in the West. So Africa is going to be going through the same kind of culture shock and what I call end-of-time shock that people over here in the West are going to be feeling. And as you said so aptly, that slavery and in Darfur, in the Sudan regions, and so forth, all of this is dovetailing into what I said, going over the next 20 years. There's going to be a crisis on this planet that we have not seen for the last 300, 400 years.
Wow. So we're really in for many things to come. That's really interesting. All right. Well, without any further ado, we'll go ahead and introduce Dr. Delbert Blair. I do see him standing by. So greetings, Dr. Blair. How are you?
Doing fine, Sister Conscious Plat. I'm happy that I'm on your show for the first time.
Oh, yes, and I'm so happy to have you, and been anticipating this. Well, you can start wherever you would like, Dr. Blair. If you have any topic that you would like to start on, or if you want to start talking about some of your products, we are eager to listen.
The change into the fourth dimension is already happening, and that's why people are sensing things and seeing shadow people and waking up in the middle of the night. And, of course, if they're doing drugs and stuff and they get caught on those fourth dimensions without going through them, then they're in deep trouble, too. That's when they see the old hag and feel weights on their chest and all this stuff. All that's explainable if you understand that we are a multidimensional thing called a soul, trapped in a limited body, which we get out of every night anyway, but now we're going to be more conscious of it, and that's going to cause fear for some. It's going to cause wonderful others, because we'll now be able to do what gods do on a lower plane, because we're going to become those gods on the lower plane. Not the creator, but the God that helps within us, and now it's beginning to give the privilege of ascending. Our souls are going to get higher in vibration as they used to be. For some never were that high in vibration. And I say this, they're not admitting publicly to it through the astrophysicists, the meteorologists, the astronomers, and all this stuff. We have a second sun. We've had that second sun since about the middle of 2004 now. And that sun is highly magnetic. We're told that our Earth is losing her magnetic field. They wish it would. No, I don't believe that, because this new sun is highly magnetic, and it's going to cause a lot of disturbances. In fact, as we get more into a magnetic field in the next coming year, and we're right around the corner from the official turn, we've already unofficially turned really anyway, you're going to see blackouts and brownouts, and you're going to have power failures. This is not fun to talk about, because I will suffer from it, others will too. But the change is that electricity cannot propagate in a magnetic field. And electricity is one of the worst kind of things you can use on a planet. But they found a way to make it worse. They use extra low frequency electricity. And this has got to go, because it's a restraining device on advanced souls. It's a restraining advice on who can live here. And the planet is going to be granted the dispensation to go not only to a magnetic field, but to an organic field, organ energy. But now they're combining metal parts and machine parts with biological parts, putting up these android-type creatures, and that's what you see in these movies. These movies aren't lying. These the Terminators and all these kind of things, that's what they're showing. And then you have man. So you got man, human, and mankind, which we seem to think are symbolic. It's not. If you remember when they went to the moon, because they didn't go when they said they did anyway, but said one small step for man, one giant step for mankind. We don't even understand the differentiation what they were saying there. And we've been lied to and miseducated, and his story has become a mystery, till now we don't even understand truth when we feel it. But now, as we vibrate upward, and we get more into a magnetic field around our planet, I just go on and on with this. We're going to have to raise consciousness. This is why it's so important now, and why I asked and prayed and begged and everything else for the Creator to help me to get to solutions. I saw the problems. Where were the daggone solutions? Everybody's telling me about a problem. Where's the solution, bro? Where's the solution, sis? So therefore, I think we've been given some solutions. And to really understand what's happening is to just overview that our planet is vibrating faster. our planet is now operating on a frequency where people are going to see shadow people. They're going to detect things. Animals are going to become more sensitive. And this is for those who are not drunk and full of, full of all these little funny things that people smoke and funny things that people drink. If you do that, then you're dependent on that substance to take you there. If you get your cells to accept your consciousness raising, the cells will vibrate there anyway. And that's why when people talk about the good water and the good food and stuff, they try to kill them, or they try to get you to get this bad stuff, because they realize that if you can take in vibrational rate with the planet, you will be on the planet when those who cannot take the vibration will be dispensed with. You're going to see people dying like mad. You're going to see people awakening like mad. You're going to see people trying to have babies like mad, especially women are driven by this now, because these souls want to come in. It doesn't mean because souls want to come in, you're supposed to let them, because again, this is a chance to get on a planet that's now escalating upward. So believe me, we could just, I don't know where to begin and not to talk, because each of these subjects is a subject within itself. The overall view, by my understanding, limited as it may be, is that we're vibrating faster. We must vibrate faster with the planet, or the new planetary atmosphere we will not be able to take. We'll have to stay with the old one, but to stay with the old Earth is going to mean death.